Are we standing on the precipice of global annihilation? I ruminate about these things, sometimes far too much. And so I would just like to share some of those ruminations with you today. Aren't you lucky? Hello. This is Hug Me, I'm Insane. I'm your host, Perry Johnson. Today I am posing the question, are humans doomed? So before I continue, I need to own that I can go down some pretty nihilistic rabbit holes in terms of this question. And honestly, it's not hard for me to go there. I just need to spend a bit of time being exposed to the news. And pretty soon I'm spinning on civil unrest and all-out warfare in whatever region of the world, or I'm exposed to stories of racism or homophobia, or I'm experiencing or witnessing mental health stigma and all these other expressions of human fear, or stories of our seeming wanton disregard of the environment, including climate change and our rising ocean levels and the continued extinction of numerous animal species and things like chemical and pesticide toxicity to both human beings and to the planet in general, or I consider our need to recycle and yet our failure to effectively do so in the face of marching consumerism and like I say, I can go down some rabbit holes and find myself in a pretty deep depression around where we're headed as a species, and really spin on that stuff and end up asking myself, well, what is the point of what what are we doing here? And then I'll have an experience of like my neighbor waiting for me and holding the door for me or something like that, and or just some interaction in the community where one person is giving a leg up, giving a helping hand to some other person, or just supporting that person. Something a lot simpler and closer to home, and more of a truer expression, in my opinion, of what it means to be human on a very base level, like a very instinctual, loving level. And I see, all of these simple expressions of the loving side, the caring side. I'd even go so far as to say our true spiritual nature, where it's one person or one soul or one spirit helping another. And when I stay more focused in that paradigm, I don't go down the rabbit hole nearly as badly. In fact, I don't go down the rabbit hole at all. I end up feeling quite recharged and rejuvenated and optimistic. This reminds me of the teaching that I heard a few years ago about how it's important that we not expose ourselves to too much international news, and how our nervous system, the human nervous system, was not built for global stress, which is effectively what we're dealing with in our modern age with modern communication. And I know personally that I feel a lot better when I keep it simpler. It doesn't mean that I'm oblivious or that I ignore world events. It just means that I'm not inundated with it, because news feeds are by design supposed to be delivering bad news, because good news is attracts a lot less readership, and that's the nature of humanity. We're attracted to destruction and things that can freak us out. It's like the slowing down for the car wreck kind of thing. So I also wanted to, while I'm on this topic, share this theory that I was banging around for a while, and I've told this to a few people, and they just sort of nod and allow me these weird little theories. But the theory has to do with my observation that the current incarnation of humanity is doomed for the purpose of the birth of a new human version of human. And it would go something like, we are so effectively running ourselves into the ground and fucking this planet up that it will be at the peril of humanity. It will result in our demise, but out of the ashes, a phoenix will rise, and it will be humanoid version 2. And that version of human will have shed its old caveman fight or flight propensities and be a lot more, not only intellectually attuned, but emotionally and spiritually attuned as well. And will be a better version of our current human selves. Now, that was the best that I could do with going down these, like I say, going down these rabbit holes. But at the end of the day, I obviously have no idea. And I probably won't be around to see that anyway. And at least I hope I'm not. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Are we in fact doomed? Or will humans band together in our present incarnation and at the 0 hour start pulling miracles out of our butts and rally and come to the aid of the ailing Mother Earth? I don't know. It's hard to imagine that, given how focused we continue to be on consumerism and distracting ourselves. So I just know that for myself, I tend to do better emotionally when I stay focused more on what's around me and my immediate circle, and how can I be of service, and how can I be more loving with myself, and asking myself questions such as, are we as human beings doomed? Ultimately, at the end of the day, those kind of questions are not good for my mental health, because I can arrive, as I've mentioned, I can arrive at some pretty nefarious conclusions, and it just doesn't end well for me up here in the head of Perry Johnson. That's what I wanted to talk about today, and I am delighted that you were here listening to me ramble on about this crap. And I see you guys the next time.